sharing this dream that I've been having numerous times, and I'm doing it for my own benefit so I can look back on it the next time I dream about it. And it's a powerful dream, and maybe I should write a book about it or something. Now, this dream originally was in an old, big, abandoned building. You could say like an asylum if you like, but it was huge, it was massive. And anybody that went in there, weird shit happens to them and they don't normally get out of it. And in the first dream that I had, which was a few years ago, I escaped with some unknown character in my dream, and we was legging it out there, and there was all this burning taking place as we was leaving. It was like a film. So yeah, I made it out the first time, but I've been going back to this dream now 6 times, but I managed to pull through. And last night when I went back to this dream, it finally made sense. But it was such an amazing story. It's an amazing dream. It could be turned into a film, and it could be a book or whatever. And I've not really thought of these ideas. I just thought I'd just share it. We're going back to this place again with a group of 6 people that I knew. Well, I don't know in real life. Everyone seemed fine about it except one. And this guy was boiling his eyes out. He was crying. He didn't want to do it. He was scared shitless. And I was reassuring him. I was like, we're going to do this. And someone else said, I thought this place had burnt down years ago. And I was like, no, it's pretty much still here. Anyway, this building started on the side here, and there was like this little entrance through like a vaginal opening, like what you go through, and that's where all this shit happens. So yeah, we all went through this like kind of like vaginal crack against the building, and we all like stood there, and inside was a massive ass cave. It was huge, and it was layered with walkways. So we all stood there, looked down, and there was a pit, and it was as big as an ice rink. And every now and then we could hear these noises, airy noises of orchestral bands playing like rum, rum, musically. And we all stood there, and it was freezing cold, and there was like wisps of air in front of us, which you could see, and we was breathing that in. All this smoke, all this smoky air, and we was breathing it in, drifting around. And we got into the pit. Got into the pit, and the smoke got more. And the next thing I know is I'm sat round a table, and all the smoke kind of like drifted all the way down, and it showed other tables. The whole room lit up, loads of people everywhere sitting around tables, like enjoying themselves, talking and whatnot. I was stuck around this table with the rest of the crew that I was with, and this door was in the corner, and a man came through it. Started screaming and shouting at people. He got his gun out and started shooting people down into this pit. Like, ah! People were screaming and moving out of the way and stuff like that. And then it started coming over to my side, and I had a person in front of me. I was like, shit, fuck, running and everything. I was like, what's going on? What's going on? Fuck. But what the fuck was going on? And then I was like in another room. And then I ran into this other room, and I was hiding behind some lockers and stuff. And other people trying to chase me, trying to like hurt me and kill me and stuff. Everything just started changing, but into a fucked up, horrible way. It was like a whirlwind of adventurous hell, where everything just disappeared and morphed into something else, and I was in somewhere else, playing something else and doing something else, but it was all fucked up. All the people that I knew were all vanished and playing their own fucking shit in this thing. What the fuck is going on in the background? Orchestrated music. Boom, boom, boom. Not just trying to fight for my life, trying to fight the fear of what was going on around me. What have I inhaled? Where have I gone? What the hell has happened? It's fucking mental. The next thing I remember, I was being pulled out back on the bench with the others that I first started with, and he's like, okay, it's all right. You've been in there for 2 days. You went in there on your 6th time, and you've come out and you get it, you understand it. Because the first time and the second time you went through there was absolute fucking nightmarish of dreams. I got it on the 6th time of going through it again, and it was just playing against your fear and desires. You went through it and encouraged other people to go through it, a bit like a trip, and you don't know what you're going to get, but you went through it again and again and again to learn about your fears and desires and to conquer them. And on the 6th attempt, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Not like the first, second, third, fourth time visit or whatever, but it took me to the exact same place. And that place that I went into, People were saying years ago before, it was a massive orchestra of bands playing and stuff. It turned into some kind of massive hospital mental institution, and it was closed down for many years because of the supernatural things going off inside this pit. It's one of them things that's going to stay with me now. I've got it on here and maybe I'll go back to it again, but each time it's getting easier, if that makes any sense. And you should listen to your dreams, you really should. But this dream that I had was so intense, so powerful, and I had to talk about it today. The guy who was shitting himself at the beginning pulled through at the end on the table, so him and those other characters, as well as, must have been their first, second or whatever time, they was kind of like brain dead for a little bit, mind warped, and they had to just like sit there for a bit until everything started coming back to them, if that makes any sense. A lot of people lose themselves when they go into this place. That's what it was in chapter 1, but here I am 6 chapters in, pulling myself out. You're going to go on it again and again and again until you realise there's really nothing to be afraid of. But yeah, it's one of my most amazing dreams, and I would love to turn it into a film or into a book or something, because it just sends a very powerful message. And the way that I've got it in vision and stuff, it could really make an airy film. When we was in the pit and we saw the just smoke blow and we're seeing the people just appear and all around the tables and stuff, and things start to change from nothing to something and turn into all this fucking violence and massacre and fear-based shit and everything, taking you on the journey of like keeping you on your toes. And sometimes it's exciting, sometimes it's nice to be frightened and stuff, but it brings it all back to you. You've always had the key to unlock yourself, and just to remind yourself that all that fear is just an illusion. Thank you for listening to my story and stuff. I do have some good dreams, and I do go back to quite a few of them a lot. And they are messages, and you should listen to them. And I've had 2 massive ones. This was one, and one was another. I'll share that for another time. It was an amazing dream, and I woke up and I was like, is that it? Because on part 1 many years ago when I had that dream, I shit myself. I was going through something. It was one of the most horriblest nightmares that I ever had. And then gradually, I didn't know this, that I was going back to this place, getting to the level of, really?